Hello and welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. I am your mayor. I hope you guys didn't forget me. I'm Derek Montilla. Of course, this guy, I can't thank enough for holding it down while I was gone, the Vice Mayor, Jesse Friedman. Jesse, how you doing, sir?
We missed you, Derek.
I miss you
guys.
I missed this place. I missed everything. And we're very, very thrilled to be joined by our special guest today, Aces Communications Manager, Adam Nichols. Adam, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you for guys having me here. I appreciate it a lot.
No problem. When we appreciate the Aces, we've become big Aces fans.
Oh, yeah.
We've had no choice but to, but we've you are our source right now for all of our good players to come up to this team. So we're thankful to have you here. Of course, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. It is World Series Day, folks. We are here. We finally arrived. The layoff felt like too long, Jesse. It felt like too long of a layoff. I don't know. Is this normal? Do they normally get this much time going into the World Series?
I think it's not horribly uncommon if the championship series both only go 4 and 5 games, right?
Yeah.
So, it sort of set up an odd situation here. But the day has come, Derek. There will be World Series baseball played tonight.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people are excited about that.
The route is on, as I predicted. The Astros are going to steamroll the Phillies. But, of course, that's not who people are rooting for, and we know that. We know who's rooting for Houston and who's not rooting for Houston. And let's take a look at who America is rooting for, because it's mostly just all Phillies.
Shocker.
Everywhere. The farther you get away from Houston, the redder it gets. But any surprises here, gentlemen, on Phillies dominating the nation's heart?
I feel like, with the Astros, it's not just the trash can thing at this point, right? It's the fact that they were in the World Series last year. They've been a very, very good team for a very long time.
It's a combination of factors. They're in that zone that we talked about where you're so good that unless you're a fan of the team, you don't care for the team, right? Like once you achieve a certain level of greatness in any sport, you are either hated or you're a fan of the team. But there's no I don't really like them, but I'm kind of rooting for them to win another championship.
Yeah. Do you have a rooting interest, or do you have an inclination one way or the other of who might come away with the series, Adam?
Well, I think the great thing about Houston being in it is that there's an actual villain. And that's a great thing that happens.
There's a heel, right?
And I
love it.
Anytime that you have a great series, is that you have that defined heel and hero, and
absolutely.
And it's rare to see Philadelphia as the hero, so it's nice to see that they've got that, but they've got a lot of players that you can identify with, and there's between Schwarber and Harper and Castellanos and Nola, you have a lot of players that show that passion that people want to see, and know what the moment is, and you've seen in the postseason that they've basically risen to that moment and had their career sort of highlighted through this. So I want to see what Philadelphia can do, and see whether or not that pitching can hold up. That's been streaking since the second half.
Yeah. Here's the thing with me is like the Philadelphia is then like 2 seasons away from being in Houston's exact spot. If they won 2 World Series in a row, they would be the team that everybody in the nation would be against, right? Especially with their payroll and their lineup. They have guys that it's easy to be fans of, but it's also easy to forget that they have the 4th highest payroll in baseball. And in a lot of ways, that's typically what's villainized in the sport is who spent more and, things like that, right? So it's kind of an interesting dynamic, but I think Houston really still not only has the cheating label on them, but it's like you said, the success they've had makes it that much easier to root against them.
Yeah. And the Astros do have some pretty likable players, I think, too.
Sure.
Like there are some pretty great stories on that baseball team.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy Pena, what he's done this year as the Astros shortstop, basically coming in and having very big shoes to fill from Carlos Correa and what he's meant to that organization over the last few years. And Jeremy Pena has been extraordinarily good in the postseason for the Astros. So also the Astros haven't lost a game yet in the playoffs, which I feel like we don't mention enough. And Derek over here thinks they're gonna just go through the entire postseason without losing a game.
I am wearing an Alex Bregman shirt right now, folks. It's got Alex Bregman writing little tigers and Houston Rockets. This is just to troll you and make you understand how much I mean that the Astros are going to steamroll the Phillies. I don't want to see that. I would love to see a competitive series, but I also like being right, so I'm torn there. Also, if you're rooting for Philly, you might just be rooting for an economic disaster for the United States. I'm just saying, because according to this tweet, over the past 100 years, the surest sign of an oncoming financial crisis has been a Philadelphia-based baseball team winning the World Series. 1929, the Philadelphia Athletics. 1980, the Philadelphia Phillies. 2008, oh my God, I worked for a home mortgage company during that time. I saw it firsthand. Phillies won the World Series, and now here we are on the precipice of the Phillies maybe winning in 2022. So should they do that? Should you be rooting for that? You might just be rooting for a recession. That's all I'm saying. You might be rooting for some sort of terrible thing to happen to this country economically. But of course, we got some game one predictions. We got Aaron Nola on the mound for the Phillies. We have Justin Verlander on the mound for the Astros. What are your guys' thoughts here? I like Verlander a lot.
Yeah,
I think he's done some good things.
I think Verlander probably rises to this moment. He was not good in his first start in the playoffs, but his most recent start against the Yankees, he was very, very good. So, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a competitive game, but I do think the Astros will probably take game one.
Let's not forget Aaron Nola lost the crown of King Brother to Austin Nola in the last series. Even though they won and advanced, he still lost the crown of King Nola Brother. But Adam, what do you think the keys are here for Philadelphia?
I think the big key is, can Nola go 6? That's the big key. Verlander's going to be able to go in and know that this is one of the last shots of him having October greatness. Yeah, and so he's going to bring his A game, and having Nola match that is going to be the key for them. Yeah, putting together with enough runs also with Schwarber, Castellanos, Harper. Can they sneak a 3-run homer somewhere? And that really, I think, is the key, is because that Houston's going to try to have that as a close game and be able to just sort of ride on Verlander and hopefully he goes 7-8 and you see that 14K performance that everyone's expecting.
I know,
and if for some way that Philadelphia can cheat a homer here or there on a fastball, that's where I think Philly can bite them early.
I think Philly has a bit of an issue when it comes to the bullpen there. So you're right, like Astros definitely have the advantage, I think, bullpen wise. So Philly is going to need their starters to get some length in this.
If the Phillies are going to win this game, they're going to get to Justin Verlander. I think that's the key for them. They're probably not going to win the bullpen battle. I will say, as much as I will acknowledge that I just said Justin Verlander will rise to the occasion tonight, Justin Verlander in his career in the World Series has made 7 starts. He is 0-6 with a 5.68 ERA. Justin Verlander has not risen to the occasion in the past in the World Series, but for some reason, maybe I'm crazy, but I think he will tonight.
No, I would get it, because it's like what you both said. It's one of his last hurrahs, right? And if he has performed like that in the World Series, you don't want to go out like that. You want to go out with a ring, and you want to go out with one of your final performances, hopefully being one of your most dominant in the playoffs. Hopefully, for him, he has 2 left in him, for this, and they can take it. But we'll see what happens with that. It's exciting. It's like Christmas. It's World Series Day, so get ready. Make some popcorn for Santa Claus or whatever you do. Get Cracker Jacks. What am I thinking? Cracker Jacks for Santa Claus. But we do have some Arizona Diamondbacks news, believe it or not. Arizona Diamondbacks claim right-handed pitcher Tyler Zuber off waivers from the Royals on Wednesday. Adding is a bullpen arm potentially.
Yeah, bullpen arm. Yeah, he's pitched a couple of years in the Royals or with the Royals in their bullpen. The numbers weren't great as you'd maybe expect for a waiver claim. Mid-5 ERA from 2020 to 2021. I think it's about 50 innings that he pitched over for Kansas City. Recovering from an injury right now, but I think he'll be ready to go next year as a bullpen candidate for the Diamondbacks. And this is something where we were sort of expecting. Mike Hazen said that. In his final year press conference, he talked about how the waiver wire is something the D-backs will look to be active in trying to find some more options in their bullpen. And they have gotten some pretty good pitchers that way. I know you're definitely not going to get everyone to pan out, using the waiver wire, but Kyle Nelson was a really good pickup for the Diamondbacks in that way last offseason. So maybe Tyler Zuber can be that same guy.
And I believe that the Diamondbacks believe in their coaching. I think that they believe strongly enough. I think they've seen it. I think they've seen the impact that it's had on players, even guys that have been a bit of a castaway from another team. And I think they look for certain qualities. It's almost like when a young pitcher in spring training or even in the Arizona Fall League kind of have a rough outing, but there's still a lot of positive takeaways, even though they gave up 3 runs or whatever, right? They're encouraged by a lot of the stuff they've seen. So I'm sure there is what is happening here? What are we getting bombarded by the Reno Aces account?
We agree, Reno.
All right, what is happening here? I don't like this. I don't like this, but we'll get around to you guys later. Of course, we have more Diamondbacks news. Christian Walker named Fielding Bible Award winner at first base by Baseball Info Solutions, and he was also named a Silver Slugger finalist along with Ketel Marte. So what do you?
Bit of a surprise, right?
I wasn't expecting that. It's almost like baseball's still trying to say, like, we were right about Ketel Marte. Remember earlier when we said he'd be the best second baseman in all of baseball? We're trying to make something happen here. But, no surprises there about Christian Walker, I don't think, either, for winning a, fielding award, any kind of Gold Glove, or, he's been excellent for this team. We've talked at length about his defensive run saved and his defensive metrics and how good he's been over there at first base. But it's good to see him also nominated for the Silver Slugger Award as a finalist. Not sure if he'll win it based on his competition but
he won't.
But
I'll just say it. There's Freddie Freeman and Paul Goldschmidt in the National League. It's a bit of an obstacle for him.
Well, actually, Jesse, I'm glad to see that didn't go away.
Yeah, I kind of have to be that guy in that circumstance. Ketel Marte, I think, was nominated more just because of the fact that there aren't offensively in the National League, second base is just fairly light. And so Ketel Marte was able to be one of the 5 guys nominated there. I think Jeff McNeil probably has the best chance to win the award of the Mets. Jeff McNeil, not many people maybe realize this, but Jeff McNeil won the batting title, I believe. He hit .326 for the New York Mets this year. So a pretty crazy offensive season from him. So, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see Ketel or Christian Walker come away with these awards, but it's always still great to, get those nominations. And Christian Walker, with regard to his fielding, he is 4 days away from winning the Gold Glove Award. I'm just going to go on record and say that. So
he just did it.
Or as we've said in the past, if it doesn't happen, we riot. So it's one of those two things. One of those two things will happen. Adam, I want to say, did Christian Walker? He spent some time in Reno.
He had a couple years in Reno, actually, working his way up. So and the funny thing is that they also tried him in different positions as well. So it wasn't just a first baseman in Reno. He was learning outfield and third base as well. So.
Wow.
Do you have any memories of your impressions of him from that time? Like, did you think that he was going to be a guy that made it?
Was he like a Gold Glove first baseman? Like did people see that coming?
I think that really they saw footwork, but the true soft hands were there. Okay. But he didn't really have a home yet. So just having the stability at first base, of learning the position, because everyone thinks that you can just put first baseman, just anybody at first base.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. We'll just throw him over there. It is a position that you need to be agile enough. And the other thing is that it's a completely opposite from all the other positions, because the footwork's opposite. So you're going towards the baseball when you're trying to get a ball thrown at you and everything else like that. So you have to think of it opposite compared to playing on the left side of the field. The bat was always there. It was just whether or not the glove could match the bat. And it seems like you said, trust the process of the coaching staffs with the Diamondbacks, and they've got some great people behind the scenes that are putting in the work to get these guys prepared. So it's nice to see that hard work that Christian's put in is now putting in the results.
Because he's been excellent, and like we said, we've even seen other guys over there at first base, and it's funny how quickly you take for granted how good he is defensively over there, just with the small things, just with his ability to stretch out and get that, give that extra little distance, and his consistency over there, right? But
so if he's mastered first base, does that mean we try him somewhere else now?
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we absolutely
Maybe
don't.
He can play center field.
Yeah, no, I don't like that at all.
There's plenty of outfielders.
There's enough outfilders. That's true.
But
maybe
I'm saying,
see if he can catch. Maybe that's the way to go.
Cooper Hummel might not like that, but I will say that he, again, we tend to think of guys that are in a place like Reno that are switching positions as somebody that's not necessarily a lost cause, but it sends it can tend to send alarms off, right? But it's something that's common when you guys are trying to figure out where their best fit in, and especially in the case of the Diamondbacks, like you said with the outfield, where can they play? Like if the outfield is so stacked, where else where you might be able to be a viable defensive player that will get you playing time.
Well, and also until this year when the DH was added to the National League, versatility was a key for a National League club.
Right.
And I think that organizationally, the organization values a player that can be more than just a spot. And the more hats that you can wear, more gloves that you can have in your bag, is only an added value. I believe with the Diamondbacks. So you start to see a lot of guys that can play shortstop and second base. Before it was usually one or the other. Yeah. And even with like Cooper Hummel or even Dalton Varsho, it's like, can you play outfield and can you catch and everything else like that? So
can you do everything? And he's like, sure, I have all the tools.
Exactly, and that's a very important role when it comes to having that versatility that an entire bench can be 4 or 5 position option instead of just one.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Well, this, by the way, the Yotes play their inaugural home game at Mullet Arena this Friday, and we've seen
that's tonight.
We've seen it's this
Derek. That is today.
It's today.
Right. Derek.
He's a little out of the loop.
I'm a little bit out of the loop. All right, I apologize, but today is the day. So make sure you guys join our PHNX Coyotes crew at Four Peaks for our tailgate watch party. It's free to enter, and you can enjoy $3 beer specials and watch on a 20-foot jumbo screen. Register through the link in our show notes. Also, hook yourself up with some discounted beer. They're going to have $15 for a 24-pack of their fall variety this Saturday only at Four Peaks Wilson Street Brewery, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The first 50 peeps there get a free Oktoberfest t-shirt.
$15 for a 24-pack.
$15 for a 24-pack. It's a killer deal. And it's a variety pack. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I
24 the same thing.
No, I love a variety. Yeah, I love a variety. It's the best. So remember, check that out over at Four Peaks. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. Over at DraftKings, by the way, new customers can also get down on NBA action with an NBA moneyline bet. By betting $5 on any NBA team to win their moneyline bet, you will get $200 in free bets if your team wins. And of course, as Jesse will tell you got to bet on the Suns. That's a must. You can also boost your winnings.
It's officially Suns betting season.
It's officially, you bet on the Suns, you bet against the Coyotes. That's the way that works over at the DraftKings Sportsbook. You can also boost your winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code PHNX. That's promo code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
The Reno Aces want to know, is Adam going to the game?
Is Adam going to the game?
Are you going to Mullet Arena?
Are you off to the Mullet Arena?
If there's a way to get a free ticket, then absolutely.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, well,
I don't really have that power, but
you need that. Right? That's another ad read. But what about your experience? Because you over at Greater Nevada Field, you guys have a fun fan experience, and I guess something that's kind of, I don't know, underestimated is we tend to think of minor league teams just as a place for the younger players to play, but for Reno, it's kind of a big deal for the city, right?
It's a big deal for the city. We have a tremendous fan base.
Yeah.
But another great thing that we try to offer is that we have 75 home dates. We try to have 75 parties.
Love it.
The baseball is the backdrop, and it's just a different way the fans of Reno really look at the field and the entire experience. Baseball insiders love the prospects, but we want to have this as great of an environment as possible when it comes to enjoyment, entertainment, having a great day out at the ballpark, enjoying warm weather once finally the summer hits. Reno is a little bit chilly in April and May. If you saw that, we even had a Mother's Day sort of snowstorm.
Oh gosh,
Mid-May, huh? That was my welcome to Reno moment. So, but we have promotions every day. We have fireworks every Friday. We have family Sundays where you have dollar hot dogs, dollar drinks, everething else like that.
Dollar hot dogs.
Hot dogs. That's crazy.
That's dangerous.
Exactly.
That's dangerous. Sean DePaz.
Yeah, do not let Sean know about that for sure.
Exactly. So we try to have every single sort of themes from Star Wars night. We now also have teamed up with Marvel and Defender of the Diamonds. Yeah. So we've got that entire promotion. We're going to also we're rebranding our Copa team as well. Our logo and entire nickname and everything else like that.
I love all that stuff. Yeah, I love all of that stuff.
And we really want to have it as an enjoyable experience as possible when it comes to just come out to the ballpark, enjoy a great day, have great memories, and enjoy some great food, watch some quality baseball, because the Diamondbacks have been fortunate enough to send Reno a lot of top prospects.
No kidding.
So there is great baseball behind it, but we want the experience of coming and entertaining beyond that as well.
What's your favorite promotion from this past year? Something stick out to you?
The one that stuck out the most to me was it had to be really Star Wars is a huge night.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. The Reno resident is actually some of the original cast members were there, the extras and everything else like that. But just also having some of the actual just super fans dressing up, seeing just the way the crossover of that is, of having the passion of a sci-fi father as well, having that and baseball, just seeing people dressed up in costumes, having the pictures taken, the custom uniforms that we had, I think were great. They're Reno Aces with R2D2 streaming across, sort of like Tequila Sunrise style. There. So having that type of just experience there, I think just was a really an amazing time.
Well, and now you guys, like you said, you have the Marvel promotion now where you guys have Mr. Baseball.
We have Mr. Baseball. Mr. Baseball comes out every 7th inning already. He's a giant inflatable baseball man that sings the 7th inning stretch and take me out to the ball game. And luckily we have a very talented designer in-house, and a combination between that and feedback and Marvel and everything else like that, we're happy to unveil that new hat that's going to be pre-sale I believe a week before Black Friday. So that's you can go to the website right now and register, and we'll send you an email when that's finally on sale, and then new uniforms actually will be coming out I believe early next year. So they'll have a custom uniform that we'll wear twice next year at least.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Ben in the comments says Reno is greater than Vegas. Can you confirm, Adam? Is that true? Tell us about the biggest little city. I've never been.
Is it? How would you describe it to someone who's never been there?
You're in the high desert. I think that it's a great town where city. There's a lot to do. If you love the outdoors, if you love baseball, if you love golf. The downtown scene is growing, and there's some great food that's popping up left and right. So, and honestly, one of the other interesting things is like there's the National Car Museum, I believe, that's right down the street from the Truckee River from the ballpark. So it's got this collection of all classic cars and all that type of stuff. There's always something to do. September's got the balloon festival, so you have the hot air balloons that are all throughout the entire. It's really cool to look at. Like, sadly, we had a lot of smoke when that happened this year, but I've seen pictures of previous years, and you've just got an entire just lit up sky of just hot air balloons everywhere. It's really cool.
I've heard it's like Vegas kind of used to be a little bit too when it comes to like its casino scene and things like that. Like it's not as gigantic resorts and things, but it's still got the vibe of Vegas.
Oh yeah, you still have the casino scene. You can get your sports book or your blackjack play as much as you want. That's never far away.
That's important.
But honestly, for me, 20 minutes away is Lake Tahoe. I'll take Lake Tahoe over Lake Mead. Yeah. So
no
so we'll take the win there.
All right. So speaking of Reno and the outdoors and everything, is it like the elevation? Is that something that like people there know that they're going to get like monster home runs, and they're kind of is it like Colorado in the aspect that they just know it's a highly offensive ballpark due to it?
I think that they expect home runs and a higher scoring game, especially early on. I noticed the spring and early summer before really summer set in, there is a jet stream out to right field. So
I've heard about this.
So there's a serious jet stream out to right field. So left-handed pull power hitters, they're getting some extra feet on their
multiple Diamondbacks players in the clubhouse told me about the jet stream going to right field.
And the other great thing with the games as well is that no lead is safe. So if you're down by 5 or up by 5 nothing ever feels safe.
It's just a more fun brand of baseball, right? I mean, that's like like we like lead changes. We like a lot of back and forth.
That tends
right?
to be what you would consider to be a good baseball game, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think with baseball, we've come to accept that there's going to be a lot of low scoring 3-1 games and things like that. And so sometimes
if Brandon Pfaadt is on the mound,
it's
possible.
Of course, yeah, but, definitely.
And he tamed not only Reno, he also tamed Amarillo. And I guess from what I understand, Amarillo is the worst ballpark in minor league baseball when it comes to
home
pitching,
runs.
to home runs and everything else like that. So he's definitely a dynamic pitcher that if he can tame Amarillo and Reno, having him in the NL West, hopefully sooner than later, will be something that will be.
We can't wait.
Yeah,
imagine pitching in like Oracle Park after being used to Amarillo and the PCL. Like, oh my gosh, this outfield is huge.
I didn't know the ball could fall like that. I didn't know it could just fall out of the sky suddenly. Speaking of dynamic players, I guess that's something that we were kind of wondering about when it comes to the dynamic of the best players on the team basically leaving once they start to achieve that point. So, like, is that something that you guys view as constantly a good thing, like a promotion going up, or especially when
it's got to be a good thing, but it's like also kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
Like when Corbin Carroll gets called up, like celebrate, but also Corbin Carroll isn't in Reno.
Is leaving, yeah.
Yeah, it ultimately we're a pit stop on their journey.
Yeah.
So we provide the platform for them to develop, and we want every single Reno Ace to succeed in Arizona. And some get the chance, some don't. But ultimately, that's where we try to provide this best of a spot for them to continue to hone their craft, so that ultimately they're in Chase Field or they're playing in the NL West. Right. And it is sometimes it's bittersweet because, like Stone Garrett, we lost 25 home runs and 95 RBI. But he put in the time and he got his shot in the big leagues, and ultimately that's what we want all these players to get.
Right. That's got to feel like that's part of your achievement as well. I know it's their achievement, but like if they can be a successful player based on their time in Reno, I feel like that every time they make it up and they start doing well, that's got to be kind of a bit of a like go get them kid moment for you guys.
Absolutely. And AAA is a unique spot because there are a lot of veteran players that have that major league experience. So you're starting to you see some guys that are sort of those tweeners that are sort of they're back end major league roster guys, but they're quality AAA players and they're finding their spot too. But it also gives a chance for these prospects to get that taste against major league players that have that experience, whether it's a thought learning to pitch against a guy that's been in the big leagues before, getting those ABs against him. And these players, these hitters know how to work counts. Sure. And I think that's one of the things that the top flight pitching prospects that the Diamondbacks have had, especially about last year here with Reno, is that they got day in, day out battles against guys that know how to work counts and take every at bat seriously. Because, and the same thing when it comes to any position players, that they're getting quality pitching back, and so they need to take every at bat seriously as well.
Ben in the chat asks, do Reno fans follow and root for the Diamondbacks in the same way we do, or are they more just Reno fans?
I know that the D-backs is growing in Reno.
Yeah.
The infiltration of the Giants over the last, let's say, decade with 3 World Series titles makes it a little bit more difficult in the
geographically. We're kind of closer to a winner than the Diamondbacks.
Exactly, but I know that we have a core of diehard fans that love the players that are aces and then see them succeed at the Diamondback level. And the more that they succeed at the major league level, I know that that's continuing to grow a fan base. And one great thing about going to a game of Greater Nevada Field is that you have access to these players. The pregame and everything else like that, it does not cost an arm and a leg to get down to field level. So you can have that 5-year-old, 6-year-old have a chance to see Tommy Henry or Stone Garrett and get that autograph and everything else pregame and have that connection, where at the major league level, that's a little bit more difficult. That's an expensive seat down there.
So, not only that, but like we've seen when they do autograph signings and like, unless you have a field pass, you don't get access to some of the guys. And in some cases, maybe only, 2 or 3 of the guys come over to the stands and sign autographs from fans that are there and such. So like, it's kind of like what we say about fall league and spring training too. It's just a chance to not only see the future of this team, but get a chance to meet them for a second and get a chance to get an autograph or a picture with them before they become that superstar that Corbin Carroll is going to become. We know that, of course.
Exactly.
Of course, if you guys haven't had a chance to get a membership yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Get yourself a membership over at gophnx.com. You can get an annual membership, and you'll get a free T-shirt like these beautiful T-shirts up on the wall over here. Jesse was supposed to wear one, but he let me down. Of course.
Didn't get the memo today,
didn't get the memo, but whatever shirt you want over at phnxlocker.com. If you get a month-to-month membership, you will get your first month for just 50 cents. Regardless of your membership status, you will get members-only access to our discounts for the phnxlocker.com, members-only access to our Discord, and members-only invites to some of our events. It's not part of it, but like the tailgate party tonight that I forgot that today is Friday, that kind of thing. Make sure to sign up for a membership, and that way you don't miss out on any of that stuff. If you're here right now on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, we thank you guys for being here. Big shout out to Adam for joining us. We appreciate you, sir. If you haven't already, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. And also, if you're listening to us on your favorite audio podcasting app, please subscribe to us there and leave us a review. We love you for it. Of course, we want to give a shout out to our friends at More Furniture for everything that they've done around this office. This place is beautiful. My face is still up on a picture that says no office chairs at every location. I still don't find that to be fair, but you can buy an office chair or whatever you need over at the More Furniture Fall Sale.
Wait, your picture is on what?
Yeah, they have a picture of me up and it says, "Don't sell this man office furniture." I'd say no more office chairs for this guy is what it said at one of them. So I tried to wear a mustache and glasses what's his name? Why am I Mets manager? It's slipping my mind now. It was a funny joke, and now I ruined it. But anyway, you'll receive a $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend over at More Furniture. So make sure to check them out and spruce up your home this fall for all of the sports that are coming, not only now, but of course, the Super Bowl is right around the corner. So you want to make sure you're ready for that. Back to Reno, our favorite place. The top prospects who played for Reno Aces this year include a variety of the Diamondbacks starters now and guys that are...
Feels like about half of the Diamondbacks roster
team,
almost. Right. There are a lot of call-ups this year.
And also 6 of the D-backs organizational all-stars were Reno Aces. Juan Cedeno, Leandro Cedeno, Dominic Canzone, Stone Garrett, Dominic Fletcher, and Brandon Fott. So what's your assessment of the Diamondbacks system? Do you feel like they really are producing some of the best talent now that most baseball teams as far as young guys go?
I think that where a lot of the organizational rankings are of D-backs being high is spot on.
Yeah.
The big thing that the D-backs I think have in spades is they have arms that throw hard and they have athletes. And that's 2 big things that the way that they're viewing everything is that trust the coaching. They've got the coaches to start sorting out where they all need to go. And there's some really talented players that are coming through the system. And they're right on the edge where the Diamondbacks got to see a peak of it at the end of the season already. And there's more coming. They're, like you said, Brandon Fott's on his way.
Yeah.
You've got some other arms that were in Amarillo that more than likely will probably be in Reno to start out the year and work our way up. And I just see a lot of big time arms, big guys when it comes to especially the pitching. Pitching's all got size.
Yeah.
They all throw hard. They've got serious secondary stuff. And the case of like with Ryan Nelson, Tommy Henry, and Fott and Dre, they all throw multiple pitches. It's not just one. It's just not them just leaning on their fastball and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
We've seen that. We've seen the variety, especially from Jay Jamison. He's put together a pretty wonderful game plan at times against teams where he, kind of switches up what his dominant pitches through some of his outings and things like that. So it's been incredible to see how quickly he's adapted at the major league level.
Yeah, and honestly, the big thing that I noticed the difference is just him being able to, whether it was elevation or anything at the PCL level, his secondary breaking balls really took off at the major league level compared to they were a little bit flatter sometimes when it came to at Reno, and that's sometimes just elevation or just the balls itself.
Right.
And so his strides and just seeing what he was able to do the last couple of starts was really impressive. Same thing with Ryan Nelson before he got shut down at the end with his shoulder. I expect him to keep throwing 95, 97 as long as everything's healthy and have that power slider that he was working on really hard to have that repeat motion when it came came to him working on having it being a little bit more just hidden with his windup. And that was one thing with Ryan is that he was a shortstop at Oregon. Like he's only like 3-4 years of learning how to really pitch.
That's crazy.
And now and then you get to the big league level and you shove for 2 straight back-to-back shutouts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
against 2 of the best teams in baseball.
Exactly. So he's still learning. You got guys like that, and then you go from there to the outfield. The outfield depth that's here is just unbelievable.
It really is.
Like to have Dominic Fletcher as like your 4th or 5th option.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
like how do the D-backs find playing time for the guy? There's so many guys in that spot for them, and yet Dominic Fletcher has had a really good year in Reno and probably deserves that opportunity.
He's a plus defender. He was a 3-hole hitter that hit 300 in the PCL, and he's sort of like the also ran prospect.
Yeah,
right?
right.
That's how much riches that the D-backs have, and still coming up. So I'm still excited to see Leandro Cedeno is huge. He's a massive individual.
Yeah.
Like, and
we talk about
the
him.
527-foot home run.
Yeah, the funny gag with him when it came to the clubhouse is that he was the Latin Shaq. Like he's this great at basketball and everything else like that as well. So he's a multi-sport athlete. He can hit. He can do everything. I'm excited to see what he can do at at Reno starting out the year.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's an added powerful stick that was found from St. Louis and everything else like that in their organization.
Let me ask you this. Do you view it as a hindrance or as an aid to these pitchers to be pitching in ballparks like Amarillo and Reno? Because we always talk about that, right? It's hard to gauge how good or bad they are at times based on their numbers because their numbers don't always back up them being.
I mean, I think Dre Jameson had an ERA over 7.
Yeah,
I want to say
to it. He was like 5-12.
Like, is it almost like boot camp in a way where you like want it to be tougher before they get to the major leagues in a way, so that then maybe. You know,
like how tough is Reno if a guy who had an ERA of 7 there comes up and like dominates the Padres and the Dodgers on the road, right?
Like it doesn't seem like it's the worst thing, but it makes it hard to like gauge that we have talented pitchers in the minor leagues when you look at their numbers.
If you just look at the surface stats, then that's where you can't look at them at the PCL level.
Right.
Like honestly, it could be 1 inning, it could be 1 pitch, it turns into 4 runs.
Yeah,
like, and that blows up an ERA. It's the secondary stats, the deeper analytics is really what a lot of the baseball development's looking at. Whether it's spin rate or release point or just ERA or and everything else like that, they're looking to see what the performance is. But it also is a mindset of the organization itself. I think that the Diamondbacks want that challenge, especially with its pitching.
Sure.
You're going to pitch in Colorado. You're going. You're
a lot.
A lot. You're still pitching at elevation here in Phoenix.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So they want to be, if they can do it and show that you can throw a strike and you can be able to handle those adverse situations at Double-A, and you can respond and continue to compete and battle through and say I can do this regardless. I think that they want that mindset in the player.
It seems like that's really what it is. And we've heard a lot of the Diamondbacks coaches and whatnot talk about that too, is like their gauge is less so, the ERA or the whip or some of the numbers for their pitchers. It's more like, did you throw strike 1 to the next hitter, after giving up that cheap grand slam or, whatever it was. So there's a mental aspect of this that I think is really, really big too. I want to get into the fact that the Reno Aces were 85-63. Like they had a really good season.
Yeah.
They won the Pacific Coast League Championship.
Sure
they almost won the AAA championship. That was a rough game. They had a 6-5 lead going to the 9th inning. Unfortunately, the bullpen couldn't hold things down there. But a fun season all the way around for the Aces. I know there was a lot of different players that played a role in that, and players coming in and going out and whatnot. But it must have been a lot of fun for you guys to have a team that had that kind of success.
Winning's always fun.
Yeah.
Okay. You can never.
I don't know what that's like.
Diamondbacks fans have a craving that has not been satisfied in a few years.
Try that.
And the great thing is that there's a core here that is very similar to those mid 2000s Royals teams. That they had prospects that won at the A-ball level, they won at the AAA level, they kept them together. So there's a group of guys that are coming into this Diamondbacks clubhouse that know how to win and expect to win. And that is much of a mental hurdle that you need to break to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
Tori's talked about that a lot. Tori's he's a big proponent that he feels like they don't come in with the same attitude like that a team like the Dodgers come into a game with, knowing that they're going to win. He says far too often he feels like the vibe is that they think they're going to win or they hope they're going to win, versus that confidence of knowing you can win baseball games and knowing you're going to win today kind of deal.
Oh, absolutely. You can develop it while learning how to lose, and you can learn how to win.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that this coaching staff at Reno is that development through winning. Ultimately, development is the number one priority, but that secondary level of just learning how to win, squeaking out a win, doing the little things you need to do to be able to just get through, to get that W, to get that one extra run above everybody else. That's a skill in itself. And to have a clubhouse to believe that if I can do that one little thing to make that win happen, it's a win for everybody in the clubhouse. So I think that's a mindset that is definitely throughout the minor league level with the Diamondbacks, and the coaching staff instills that. And it's important. You when you get to the major league level, that margin's like that thin.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
And coming into that clubhouse that every day of saying, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to win, is a mentality that separates when you can finally get to that point and you know that you're coming in already.
We've talked about that with like the bullpen, right? Mm-hmm. The Diamondbacks led the league in losses in the bullpen, and it's not that we think all of those losses are going to magically go away with a better bullpen. But when you look at their season, 10 wins out of those 41 losses changes the complexion of this season from being a season where they finish below 500 to finishing a few games above 500. You take a few more wins than that, and you're usurping the Phillies, who right now are in the World Series for the final playoff spot. So like that just shows how close, how razor thin it is, and honestly how close the Diamondbacks really are. Even though we still feel like we're very far away from that point of being back to the playoffs, being back to where the Reno Aces seem to be. Now, Jesse and I need to know this because we need to know who to attack, who to be against. So who is the Aces' biggest rival?
It's Vegas and Sacramento.
Are the Vegas still the Aviators, right?
They're the Aviators. Yeah. They're the A's affiliate, and then Sacramento is the River Cats, and they're the Giants affiliate. So they're the two closest ones.
All right, we could get on board with a Giants affiliate, hating a Giants affiliate. So
the Reno Aces say Tacoma.
They say Tacoma.
There's also that's an on-field one as well. So there's always been sort of just a chippiness to it that between the two clubs up there. But
I think they're just attacking Jesse, because Jesse used to live in Tacoma, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I feel like this is just yet another personal attack on Jesse, Jesse, by the way, Reno Aces, has beef with you. Jesse has beef. We were out here, we were having a good time. Everybody was picking on Jesse. The Amarillo Sod
the Rawhide started it. The Sod Poodles got in on it.
Yeah.
It started because on our show, you were talking about how VHS players could record TV shows, I had no idea. Yeah, full disclosure, you can go back and watch the video. I had no idea that was possible.
I don't remember these conversations. I really don't, because again, you just like I'm Matt Damon in that GIF of me aging right now as we speak, with you saying you don't know VCRs record live television. But yeah, no, I get it. I understand. And the Reno Aces, they hit you up with a "Who's Jesse," which they did just now. In the comments. And,
I know this isn't your fault, Adam, but I have a serious beef with whoever your social media manager is. I know this has nothing to do with you whatsoever, but I don't know what it is.
It's pretty good.
Everyone else is having a great time.
He's actually texting right now under the desk, and he's not even looking at it, and he's hitting this stuff. No. Is it Vince? Is it Vince that we have to blame? Who do we have to blame here?
I feel like all the blame should go to Vince.
Yeah,
from what Max tells us.
From what we were told, we were supposed to heap massive amounts of blame on Vince.
Well, he's the head of the entire department, so you always can go after that. But there's a group of us that we have no problem pushing buttons when we need to.
Well,
everyone else is just having so much fun.
we
It
were
was just
having so much
lighthearted.
fun. Right.
The
We were having a
rawhide,
good
the
time.
hops, the sod poodles, and the aces.
And
just had to come
Max
after me
Max
like
is
that.
here. Max has some bad things to say about Vince, I'm sure, right? I mean, let's get it out. What's up, Max?
Oh, absolutely.
Friend of Vince, if you want to call it that.
No.
Allegedly.
Fortunately or unfortunately, Vince is one of my best buddies. But yeah, that guy's a giant piece of shit sometimes.
Wow. So, that's
That's what
love.
friends do.
That's love.
No,
That's friends.
but I do know who to blame for that. That is Mr. AJ Grimm. That's all his.
Ooh.
That's all his doing, and that man
All right,
is
AJ.
grim on Twitter because he's spicy, man. He'll give it to you. Yeah.
He's gotten third-party validation of world-class trolls. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Well, we are happy to have the Aces in our lives, for better or for worse, for shit talking or not. But he probably stole my keys. Yes, he probably did.
The Aces are just that social
was
media
just
guy
Shane.
to blame for everything,
That
right?
was just Shane, you guys. But of course, we thank you guys for being here. Shout out to our friends over at OG's, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to check out their wonderful edibles, they are Arizona's top-selling gummy. And, of course, they are putting you to bed with their new Sleep Edition gummy. You won't want to sleep on these. I had to say that because Max is in here, and he loves that. He loves that line. You won't want to sleep on these. But, of course, OG's new Sleep Edition gummy has a 2-to-1 THC to CBN ratio, the CBN being a compound that not only helps you fall asleep but stay asleep. And we know that's what so many people are seeking out, a good night's sleep. So make sure to flavor your dreams with the new Sleep Edition gummy from OG's. They have a wide variety of doses and strains for you to check out. Make sure to check them out at your local dispensary. You can check them out online at ogsbrands.com or on Instagram at ogsbrands. Must be 21 years or older to purchase, and enjoy responsibly. But thank you guys again so much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey,
we appreciate you.
awesome.
Thank you.
We can't wait to come out to Reno and check out the ballpark because we want to come out and see the vibe and be there for a game. We need to check out the future of this team in person without it just being so far away.
You're welcome anytime. Come
That's
out to
awesome.
Greater Nevada Field, and we'll definitely make sure that you see all the prospects coming your way down
Let's
here.
go. And hey,
Some
like
days
we said-
Derek didn't want to go to a Diamondbacks game. He just wanted to go to the Aces game.
no, it's very true.
But
it's
I had
very
to tell
true.
him,
I was
Derek,
like,
that's
why are we
like
doing
1,000
this?
miles away.
And
We
I'm
can't
like,
just-
yeah, that's like 4 hours. Let's get in the car and let's go. But remember,
I think Vegas is 4 hours.
yeah, I know, whatever.
I don't think
It's an
Reno is.
hour 45 flight.
There you go.
You haven't driven with me yet, though. So
Oh,
that's,
gosh.
We'll see. That's what we're saying.
Oh,
Again,
gosh.
shout out to Adam. Thank you so much for joining us.
If we
man.
take the RAV4, maybe.
If we take the Ren 4.
Wait, Derek.
I gotta get the aux
Derek,
cord,
you
though. I
missed
gotta get
this.
the aux cord.
Wednesday, Jesse was talking about how his RAV4 would beat anybody's car in a race because
It
it has a
would?
God,
V6.
this is what happens
I mean,
when I'm
like,
not around.
okay,
He was
not
literally
only
looking up
you
0 to 60 times.
Oh God, no! There's no way. No, what?
I looked up the 0 to 60 times of like basically everyone's cars in our office, and I found that mine was the lowest.
Yeah, but you're not.
That
you're
is not
hitting
true.
that. There's no way
Yours
that's
was the
true.
slowest.
It was
Not the
It
lowest.
was not the slowest.
There's no way.
It was not
There's
the
no
slowest.
way that's possible. We're gonna have to do research on this.
It was faster than your Audi Q, whatever
No,
it was.
It was
fucking
not.
way It was.
It
No
was.
way
It was not.
Oh my God.
Let's go. Let's try it.
I'm just
I'm
reminded
down.
of all the terrible cars we have here at the office. But of course, we thank you guys for joining us. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. Of course, you have to follow the Aces at the Aces. All right, you have a Twitter?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, he's you contact him through the Aces, so that's what you need to do. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports and at PHNX D-backs. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for the at PHNX_sports. I'm still rusty at this, but I promise I'll get back on track. We thank you guys again so much for joining us on behalf of everybody in this room, Faj, Max, Adam, Jesse, and myself. We appreciate your time as always. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun in Reno.